everyone in here is in a situation that is, quite frankly, not even serving them. At least me and Jack have said, listen, it's not our ideal situation, but we're open and let's see where it goes.
Like, I hear you, to be fair.
I'm just a girl too, and I have feelings.
Personally, I think this is getting old. It really is, in the sense that I don't get why we continue to bring people on the show knowing for a fact that we can't find partners for them. If we know that we can't sort of find someone who's going to be interested in them, let us not waste people's time. There was no reason for Jack to come back. There was no reason for Tommy to come back. There was no reason for what's his name, Sean, to come back, because we all know that they're not going to find their person. Whitney, I'm on the fence. She might find her person if they bring in the right person, but at the moment, it doesn't seem that way. And then I really liked Scott and Leanne. I'm very sad that we didn't get to see as much of their chat in the sort of secret garden. All we saw was the kiss, and that was it. I think Scott is really keen on her. And so I'm hoping when it's his time to choose, he chooses Leanne. Do I see him with Millie? No, I don't think he wants the drama unless he's just being toxic and really wants to wind up Charlie, then he's going to do that. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by to go, Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island All Stars, Season 3, Episode 3. So we have the islanders getting ready for the night. We then have Shaq go on the terrace to have a chat with Bella, because I think for him, he feels some type of way because he was kicked out of the villa and people played this kissing game and he didn't get to participate. And so he's really hoping that this is his opportunity to sort of participate. He seemed like he tried to initiate a kiss and Belle pied him. I think what's happening with Bella is she is wanting to keep all the guys on a string, and then she'll get to choose who she wants at the end of the day, because whatever she's doing, it doesn't make sense to me. It seems like she's just playing with the guys. There was no reason for her to say to Shaq, I am a slow burn. I want to chat with you 5 more times before I kiss you. No, she doesn't like him like that. She's already moved on. She's hoping Scott will take her. If Scott doesn't take her or pick her, then she's going to go back to Shaq. I'm willing to bet money on that. Sean was having a chat with Millie. Personally, I didn't quite understand it. I don't understand their connection. Sean was complaining that, he tends to overthink things. They discussed kissing, the fact that he didn't get to kiss her when they were playing the game, and he would have loved to kiss her, but then he was sent into the hideaway. And there was sort of this conversation about Charlie trying to mark his territory by taking Millie to the secret garden and kissing her. And it's like, I don't think it's that deep. I really don't. Sean has a tendency of trying to sort of play on the girl's empathy to get a girl, which I don't get why the girls can't see through this and why they can't call him out. And then for Shaq, we were told that Whitney and Leanne don't want anything to do with him because of Tanya. But then you see him having these nice chats with the girls. You see him sort of leaning into him, cuddling into him when it's cold. And it's like, make it make sense. Are the girls not even talking to him? Or is he talking to these girls, but we're trying to sort of make it play out that the girls don't want anything to do with him because of the fact that he's Tanya's ex? Anyway, he was trying to play wingman for Jack. That's the impression that I got, because he was trying to call out, Jack's green flags. Jack, I think the visual is what people don't like about him. I'm going to say that. If he goes home, if he bulks up, and if he sort of works out and becomes more muscular and a bit, buff, people are going to be falling all over him. At the moment, the way he looks, the girls are always going to be overlooking him. And so as much as he has plenty of green flags, the girls are going to find reasons as to why they don't think he's right for them. So I hope Whitney gives him a chance, because at the moment she's got no other choice. And sadly for her, given what happened with her ex, people are going to play it in their heads and they're going to think, do I really want to be in the situation with Whitney where she could turn around and make the same allegations that she made about her ex? So I don't know. Jack on his part was just hanging around hoping to, be called or to hear something. But hey, it is what it is. You had Helena go to the terrace with Sean. Why she went to the terrace with Sean, I don't know. Helena likes what other people have. She can't just have something for herself. She has to feel like she's in competition with the popular girls, because there was no need for her to go to the terrace with Sean. There was no need for her to kiss Sean. You could tell there was nothing there. Sean just wanted to kiss the girls because he missed out when people were kissing. That's all it is. It's not like he's got a romantic connection or anything. He just wanted to kiss her just because this was something that was happening around the villa. You then had Shaq and Whitney be joined by Jack. I'm still going to say there's nothing there. Shaq can try as much as he wants to wingman for his guy, but his guy doesn't have the sauce, and he doesn't look that amazing to sort of attract girls that are very visual in what they are looking for. I think he would be better on Love Is Blind. This is not his show. Anyway, Shaq then had a conversation with Sean where he was told about the case with Helena. And so, I didn't get why they were talking about it outside of the fact that Sean was trying to play innocent. Sean is very smart because he knows that Shaq is Helena's other connection. So he is trying to mark his territory. So he pretends to be friends with you, tells you everything. It's in a way to sort of make you feel guilty and not want to go there with him. And so he's using the same playbook he used on Omar. He's trying to use the same playbook on Shaq, and I hope Shaq is able to see through that. You have the islanders gather around the fire pit, so they get to ask a question. In the question, so you can either answer truthfully or you can say pass. And so first up was Shaq. He was asked by Scott what happened in Miami. He said he went to a strip club and that's all it is. He didn't sleep with anyone. He didn't make out with anyone. It's just he went to a strip club and allowed someone to dance on him. And he said the reason he was saying it was because he wanted it over and done with. He didn't want to continue to sort of hash it out with people. Do I think that's the end of it? I do not think so. Charlie then asked him, if Leanne wasn't friends with your ex, would you go there? And he said, yes, he would. Shaq said, yes, he would. And he was asked, outside of Leanne, I think, who else do you get along with? And he said, Bao. And then next up was Jess. Jess was asked by Millie, if you weren't coupled up with Tommy, who would you couple up with? She said, Kieran. Am I surprised? No. Sean then decided to put his 2 pence in. He asked, if you weren't friends with Matilda, would you give me a chance? She said, why not? I think she just said it for the sake of saying it. She doesn't want him. She doesn't feel him like that. And so the idea that he's trying to push himself there doesn't make sense. Shaq then asked, are you going to kiss Tommy? And she said, pass. And then she went and she kissed Tommy. Tommy was excited because Shaq was his wingman. Some of the questions Shaq was asking made me question whether production had sent him to do it because he was being very messy. Next up was Scott. He was asked by Kieran, if you were to recouple, who are you picking? He said he would pick Leanne. And then Shaq asked, who is better looking, Leanne or Catherine? He went and he kissed Leanne. And it's like, Shaq is being messy, really messy. And then Jess asked, who do you think is playing the biggest game? He said, Charlie. Am I surprised? No. I think Charlie is playing the biggest game because the problem we have is there are too many guys that are playing innocent cutie pie. So you have Tommy and then you have Sean. So people are now trying to sort of play the hard man in the villa, the one with the statement. And I think this is what Charlie's playing because he's trying to play the father figure in the villa. Jack asked, which islander would you least like to see enter the villa as a bombshell? I don't remember his answer on that. Do I remember? No, I don't. Maybe his ex. I don't quite get it. Whitney was asked by Charlie, who are you most sexually attracted to in the villa? She said Charlie. She said because it reminds her of this something character. I think Whitney because she struggled in her season to find a match. This time she's come in. She wanted to come in to revamp her character after the whatever happened on her previous show and also what happened with her ex. And so I think she might like people, but she's not willing to make the move because she doesn't want to be rejected. That's the impression I get. Sean was then asked by Shaq, have you kissed someone tonight? He spoke out loud with his full chest and he said, Helena. Everybody was shocked. Charlie asked, would you do it again? He said, yes. Shaq asked, if you weren't in your current couple, who would you want to share a bed with? He went and he kissed Millie because he said pass. He was then asked, is your favorite color blue? He said pass. He went and he kissed Belle. He was asked, what is your reason for kissing Helena? He wouldn't give the reason, so he went and he kissed Jess. Jess wasn't happy. Jess was not happy. You could tell she was not happy. She did it because it's part of her contract, but I don't think she was happy to do that. And then next up was Leanne. Shaq asked, is a man's finance more important than their looks? She said yes. Then everybody tried to sort of help her, and by the time she tried to change her mind, Shaq said it's too late. It's really sad because we've already heard Whitney imply that she's very materialistic. So the idea that we have Shaq now saying the same thing makes you question what is going on with this girl. her next question was, who would you like to kiss? And she said Scott. And then she was asked something and she said pass, and she went and she kissed Scott. He was happy with that. Helena was asked by Sean, have you ever slept with a footballer and name the footballer? She didn't want to do that, so she said pass, and she went and she kissed Sean. Sean just wanted a kiss. And then Tommy was asked, who is your biggest threat? And he went Kieran, because apparently Kieran is the only other guy who's pulled Jess for a chat. Scott asked if Jess and Emily were on sort of like a bench. Which side of it are you sitting? He went past and then he went and he kissed Jess. Do I think he should be in the villa? No, I don't think so. Millie was then asked by Charlie, would you ever get back with your ex? I think this became a therapy session for Millie and Charlie, because it made me question, why did they make out if he's asking all these questions? These are things he should have asked before they kissed. And she said no. And then the next question by Charlie was, how long was your breakup? She said 5 months. His next question was, is it too soon that you can fall in love with again? And she said no. And it's like, I don't get it. I don't get it, because she said it depends on the person. She said she gets over relationships quickly, so this is not a big deal for her. Helena then asked her, who's the most famous person you've been with? And she said pass on that, I remember. And then she went and she kissed Charlie. Bella was asked by Kieran, if you had to couple up with someone, who would it be? And she said Scott, because she likes the competition. This is why I think they get along with Helena. And then she asked, have you ever had any ballers in your life? She said pass, and then she went and she kissed Scott. Jack was asked by Kieran, who are you sexually attracted to? He said Millie. Scott and Whitney then immediately asked him, so if you're interested in Millie, why are you not exploring that? Why are you sitting there pretending like Whitney is it for you? I get it, and I understand where they're coming from, because they asked him, why haven't you gone there? He didn't give it. He said, he's not going to sort of try and sort of one up a friend because Charlie's already there. Shaq then asked, which one of the female islanders looks best naked? He went and he kissed Millie. He just wanted to kiss Millie. That's it. Kieran was asked by Millie, name your top three. He said Leanne, Jess, and Bella. His next question was, who do you think is playing it safe? He said Whitney. He said this reason for picking Whitney is because 1 minute she's saying she wants to explore with Jack, and then the next minute she's saying no to her baby daddy. I get how it comes across. Belle was then asked, how many people have you slept with? He refused, and he went and he kissed Jess. Jess sort of made the face that I didn't understand, because she winked at first and then she made this funny face, and it's like, make it make sense. Charlie was asked, which is your top three? He went Millie, Bella, and Jess. Shaq then asked looks, personality, and body. How would you rank them? And he refused, so he went and he kissed Millie. Scott then asked Charlie, who do you think is playing it safe? He said Jess, Whitney, and Helena, because he feels like, at the end of the day, Whitney is just playing games. She's not into Jack, but she doesn't want to make it known. And it's like, it's day 2, as everyone is saying. What did we expect him to do? I love that Whitney said, take off your clothes, we're about to make out. And it's like, they're being a bit too much. Just because Jack is their guy doesn't mean everyone is going to like him. You heard Millie already say bless him after he kissed her, so the audacity and the idea. He was asked about his body count. He kissed Bella, and then he was asked, who do you think is the first to go home? He said, as a couple, it's Whitney and Jack. And it's like, why are we aiming for Whitney and Jack? Make it make sense. I don't get it. I get the fact that, yes, their couple is not strong. Yes, there's nothing stand out about them as a couple outside of Whitney's personality, but still, at the end of the day, it's just beating down on the same people. I wish they'd said somebody else. So the game then ended. Whitney wasn't happy. She stormed off. She was really very upset. And Jack was saying he is now confused because he doesn't know where he stands, because Whitney said she's attracted to Charlie. And it's like, but you said you are attracted to Millie. So it's, one and the same. So you can't blame her. She's just said exactly what you've said, but in a different font. The Islanders get ready for the night. Obviously, there's a lot of tension in the villa because of this game. No one wants to address it. I assume they were told not to address it and to wait until the next day, because nothing was said. Everyone was in their feelings about the whole game. In the morning, you then had this chat between Belle and Sean. And Bella was saying to Sean, you kissed Helena, and then in the game you didn't kiss her. Why did you kiss her? What are you trying to play? And Sean has this way of playing the innocent victim, and I don't know why everybody doesn't see through him, because he's not as innocent as he makes out. We've all seen him in his previous season, and from time to time you tend to see the mask falling, and so I don't understand why people didn't see that he's still the same character. He did the same thing last season where he went about kissing everyone and his partner had to call him out. So the idea that we think he's an innocent victim, I do not get. Whitney and Jack sat down for a chat. It didn't work out as Jack expected. Whitney is too fiery for Jack. Jack is too sweet. He's too easygoing for Whitney, because they tried to sit down for a chat, and Whitney was saying, if you want to explore, I will explore, and we'll see what happens. If we don't find anyone, then we'll come back. I think because of the way she was played by Maddie, and then what's happened with Locken, this is why Whitney is very standoffish when it comes to guys. Whitney then sat down with Charlie, and Charlie was saying, oh, it wasn't personal. I love that she held his feet to the fire. I love that she told him that you were playing games, because if you're not playing games, then you wouldn't have put me on Front Street. You wouldn't have sort of targeted me the way you did. I feel like you really came after me for no apparent reason, which he did. As much as he wants to play innocent, he did. And he can't run away from that. So I'm happy that someone was able to call him out and say, I didn't like what you did. I don't think it's fair. You need to be more mindful of what you say. So I love that conversation between Whitney and Charlie. Helena sort of moaning to Bella didn't make sense to me, because Sean is not her guy. This is the problem. She doesn't know how to speak to people. All she knows is how to use her body. She had the same issues in her season. So for her to say her confidence has fallen because Sean kissed her in the terrace and then came down and he kissed somebody else, and now she feels like it's history repeating itself, I don't think so. I think it's your poor judgment. I think it's your poor decision-making skills, and you need to work on yourself. You shouldn't have come into the villa. Instead, you should have gone to therapy. That would have served you better. Her crying, do I have empathy for that? Not really. You then had Scott be pulled for a chat to the secret garden by Leanne. Leanne, for me, I don't know her from a season, so I'm still side-eyeing her, trying to understand exactly what is happening. I don't like the fact that we got to see them going to the terrace. We got to see them share a kiss, and that was it. So Scott seemed really excited about it, so I don't like how the whole scenario played out. I wish we had got to know more before they sort of sat down and started kissing. Because after that, we then had this chat by the fire pit between Sean and Helena, where Helena was sort of saying she felt some type of way about him not sort of kissing her during the challenge. The problem with Helena is because she's so afraid of rejection, she's quick to let go. She brings up a concern and then she quickly sort of sides with the person that's upset her, and she doesn't address any issues. And this is the same thing that happened. She had the same issues with Harry in her season, and it didn't work out so well for her. So I don't understand why she's allowing a little guy like Sean to play with her. Shaq, I don't know why he's going after Helena. I think he's going after Helena because he's got no choices. They went to the secret garden. They barely spoke. The next thing is they were making out. And it's like, Helena will kiss anyone and everyone. She said she hasn't unpacked her bags 5 months with her clothes in a suitcase. Stinky, stinky room. And so I don't get why Shaq is entertaining her, or whether because she's his only option, this is why he's decided to try and make out with her. Yeah, it's going to be the Meg and Dijon scenario from last season. This is what I can foresee. Anyway, you have the Islanders sort of hanging around the villa, and Scott receives a message. Islanders, tonight there will be a recoupling in which the girls will choose which boy they want to couple up with. And then Sean, because he was the latest Islander to sort of enter the villa, he would get to pick the girl that he wanted first. Who do I think he's going to pick? I think he's going to pick Leanne. I'm willing to bet money on it. I know he is being very vague. Maybe he's been told not to sort of reveal who he wants to pick. And it's like, even if he picks, there's still going to be an extra girl left without a partner. It seems in the next season, in the next episode, sorry, 3 bombshells are coming in. I can't wait to see that. The Islanders got ready for the night. There was a back and forth about who Sean was likely to pick, because everybody knows that depending on who Sean picks, then things are going to go upside down and it's going to be difficult to know who will recouple up with whom. I think this is why they left it on a cliffhanger on that. You had the Islanders come out, gather on the fire pit. Scott was going through his speech, and suddenly we went to sort of the previews for tomorrow. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 2. Bye everyone.